questions from you. And he had a lot of pictures in his room, but he wanted to bring this, which is what the state gave him for being the oldest citizen in Otisfield. And that was almost 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So now he's going to be 104 on his next birthday. And this is a picture of his father. This was taken in Otisfield or Oxford?
That taken where Gary lives.
On 121 in Otisfield.
Yeah.
And so that's his dad.
I owned that place once, and father wanted to stay there after mother died. And so I got my brother and his wife to come and live with my father. Yeah. I didn't dare to give them the place because all they do was just fold it away.
So you kept it in your
That's
name.
all they could do. They had 9 children. I thought he did fairly well to even feed them. But he did. And then he had this boy that we used to talk about the place, and he was quite interested. And I said, if you go there and stay, you'll get the place. So I gave it to him.
And that's your nephew, Gary.
Yeah. I didn't need it because I had a place of my own. My 2 sisters had their place. And so we were some pleased to get Gary there. He's good to us. We can go up any time and visit. And in fact, if we want to come up, he'll come get us. Yeah. Well, I was supposed to speak about what it was like when I was a kid.
Sure, and they may have questions or whatever, you know.
Well, we'll have some questions after.
Okay.
Okay. Well, most of the towns had a number of schoolhouses for the fact that back then there was nowhere getting children to school, same as they do now. They had to walk. So that's why they had so many schoolhouses around, where kids could walk to. And that's what we had to do. Summer or winter, of course we didn't go in the summer, but spring, fall, and winter. And I had an old black pair of rubbers and felt boots. And after you'd worn those a while, you took them to school. It was warm in there. That's so it needed fumigating. Yeah. But I wanted to tell you about in the school, some of the children would get kind of obstropulous and cause trouble. And they had this one boy, and he'd do most anything. And this, we're speaking about this brick schoolhouse on Bell Hill. And there was a beam went across there. And he'd climb up on the desk, get hold of that, and go up on that beam, sit there. So when the teacher come, he said, "Teacher, what would you do if I went up there and wouldn't come down?" And she said, "Well, I don't know, really, if I do, but I could think of something if you did." And he said, "Well, I guess I won't." And he did. But that was the trouble. We had the teacher that instead of punishing the children, she'd say, "Please don't do that." It didn't work at all. They didn't hire her the next year. She was a good teacher if you paid attention. But she was a good teacher.
Well, it sounds like things haven't changed that much. I think if we ask these guys, please, to do something, they
The next year, we got a teacher that was just what we needed. Nobody dared do anything because they weren't sure what she'd do. Like this boy took up there. He said, what would you do if I went up here and wouldn't come down? She said, well, I don't know, but we'd have to find out. And he said, well, I guess I won't. And he didn't. Now, you got any questions?
Well, tell them about how you made the money. You know how the kids didn't have a way to get to school? And so you made a little business of that.
Oh, well, they give me the 50 cents?
Right, yeah.
Well, sometimes the school happened to be far enough away, so you had to ride. So we had plenty of horses and sleighs, and there were 3 children that needed to get to school. So they used to go with me, and they give me 50 cents a week to ride to school. Now, that 50 cents a week was a lot different than it would be now. 50 cents wasn't about so much, but 50 cents was 50 cents then. For a week, I get $1.50. I could buy a bag of oats or a horse for $1.05. So it was quite a difference. And I enjoyed it. When I went to high school, I lived where Gary lives, in Otisfield on 121. And then I had a horse, and we went to Oxford, the old schoolhouse. After a while, they changed it to a town office. It's right in the village, across from the post office. Yeah.
So that's the building you went to high school in? Is the?
I never went in that building. I went in the old building that was there.
Oh, on that spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it didn't work very good. It was not built too well. They tore it down, built this one. But I had gone away to school. Yeah. I thought I'd like anyway, to go to school somewhere other than Oxford. That's fine. I went through there, I got a diploma. That was good. So I went to Portland, and the man was principal of Portland High School. And I said, can you tell me where I could go to school? Now, I can't go to college because there's no way we'd have money. And he said, yes, I can tell you. The General Electric Company. If you write them, they'll write you about what they can do. And they did, and I signed up, and I went there 3 years. It was really, I got a good education. How I know it was a good education, after a while I went to work for the state of Maine Highway Department. The state of Maine Highway Department was in trouble quite a lot. So they appointed me as troubleshooter. And we had to go to court quite often. And I found that some of the judges, they wanted things their way, the way you dressed, what you said, how you said it, so forth. So I had to go by that. And they approved me because I had this diploma from the General Electric Company. It was really good. Now, have you got any questions?
Well, Mr. Dyer, Remember when you were telling me about the boy that you gave ride? You had those 3 kids, you gave them rides to school, and there was a boy that